Hi everyone, this is Kelly from The Truth and Story, and I've been waiting this for a while. I don't generally back a lot of Kickstarter things. I did last year, the most I've ever done. I did last year, but I don't generally do them because A, I don't have any patience, and once I pay for something, I want it to be teleported to me instantly. I have tons of patience to do research, months and months of research. But once I put down money to purchase something, I want it immediately. And it's just something about myself. So I don't tend to do Kickstarters because of that. But mostly because I don't tend to buy decks that I haven't seen all the cards. And a lot of times with Kickstarters, you don't see the cards. They just have partial of the cards done. And so I don't tend to purchase decks that I haven't seen all the cards for. I've made a couple exceptions this year, and one of them or this past year I should say, in 2017, one of them was this Open Portals by James Eaves. Now, this is the creator of the Light Visions Tarot and the Prisma Visions Tarot. So even though I hadn't seen all of the cards, there were a lot of them when I backed it, and I love both of these decks, which are same artworks, variations of the same artwork, but still it's 78 pieces of artwork from this creator. So I had a pretty solid feeling for his art style combined with the cards that were, there to see, and it was a playing card oracle, and so I was just like, yes, sign me up. So of course, there's been some delays because he did some cool things with edging the deck, some different colored metallics that got a little bit messed up. So I've been anxiously awaiting this and so excited to have gotten. It wasn't bad. Like, I feel like this was supposed to perhaps come out in November. I think there was something where perhaps people would have gotten them by Christmas or be able to use them for Christmas presents, and that didn't happen. So it's not like it hasn't been a horrible delay. So yes, thank you. Without you, this would not be possible. If you notice anything amiss, please send us an email and feel free to share with the world. So I will definitely do that because I love to share with the world, clearly. Oh, wow. This is bigger than I expected it to be. I wondered when I picked it up why the box was as... Oh, look. Okay. To be honest, I don't even remember what I ordered. So let me zoom in here a little bit. I'm so excited about this. If you follow my channel long enough, you know I'm a huge playing card fan, collector. In fact, I got another one that I need to show also I also pre-ordered, called the Ecliptic Zodiac playing cards, and this is dead on paper, which I love dead on paper projects. That I also got the beautiful House of the Rising Spade, which is stunning. So these are some new, and then this was one as well. I collected playing cards long before I ever started collecting tarot card decks, and certainly read with playing cards before I ever had any other kind of a deck. So I am a big fan of playing cards. So here, I love the little packaging you put this on. These are ceramic pins. I know like Stephanie Poo Moon Law does this with some of her artwork, and she turns them into pins. So here is a spade pin. It's the Ace of Spades with the this kind of wave of water here. But I love it that it's on like a little card. Like, I probably won't take that off of there because I don't necessarily wear pins, but I will probably set that somewhere by my playing card collection or something, because how adorable is that? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And then this is a print of Light Magic, the Ace of Diamonds, and it's signed and numbered. Again, gorgeous. I will be framing that because I love playing cards. So those are two little like extras. And then here's the box. So you can, I was going to say, I didn't think that I got a two deck, but one side, probably if you got both, like two different colors or something, you would have them both in there. but it holds these cool, very cool, these are really cool. Okay, so there's a game, Open Portals, and so this is the instruction book. How cool is that? That's actually really cool. So this, I'm not going to open this too much because this is how to play the game. So this is old style, right? You've got both, okay, now I'm never going to get this back. Oh no, okay, let's be careful here. Like that, there we go. So this is how to play the game, Open Portals. And then he made a separate one, I think when we got to a certain goal, he made a separate one for the Oracle, how to use it as an Oracle, which is, of course, look at that card. I'm so excited about this. This was one of the ones I was really keen on. So then this is the guidebook on how to use it as a Oracle, which is what I'll be doing. So here, gold embossed box. The artwork doesn't go all the way through, but it's a lovely box. I'm keen on it. I didn't even know that I was going to get that. Okay. I'm so excited. Okay, I get too excited about such things. So then here's the card. Of course, it's a deck of playing cards because it's a playing card game / Oracle, which is what playing cards are as well. And technically what tarot is as well. And technically what Lenormand is as well. So I'm in love with all. See, I ruined it. I didn't open the little thingy-mabobber correctly. And so now I'm going to have to struggle to get it open. I was too excited, so I ignored that little thingy. There we go. Oh, it's so beautiful. So beautiful. This is a stunning box. So this is embossed. Let's zoom in a little bit here. Oops, not out. Let's zoom in. This is an embossed box with gold and black. Open Portals playing card. You know, all your stuff. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Oh, look at the red. I chose the red. Look at that, because I don't have anything red. And I think I chose the dark. I can't even remember anymore. Look at the inside is embossed with the playing card suits. Oh, look at this. Okay. Yeah, so the whole inside of the box is embossed with gold. Embossed gold foil. Well, gold foil. This is embossed. I think this is just regular gold foil. Oh, it's so beautiful. So there are accents obviously of red in the red colors. I can't remember now, to be honest, what the options were. I think there was a darker one and a lighter one, and I went with the darker one. And I went with the red gold foil because I don't have anything with red foil. And of course we have all the red accents because of the hearts and the diamonds. And so that's why I ended up going with the red. Okay. I have done, you just seen, excited unboxing. I actually ended up doing a full walkthrough of this deck, and it was just very disjointed. I was very excited. I was so excited that it was just very disjointed, and I want to give this deck some due diligence because it's really amazing. So since I've received this, I have actually been able to use this. I've done quite a few readings for myself and a few for other people, and so I feel like I want to approach this in a way that is a little dialed back of the initial crazy excitement. So because I didn't read ahead, and it wasn't very clear. So I'm keeping sort of the first unboxing parts and things of that nature, but now this part of the video is a few days later, and I'm redoing this. So I've gone through all this before, and I'm redoing it because, again, I really do want to give justice to this because I actually think it's incredible. So I'm not sure where I'm going to cut the other one off, but I do want to just do a quick rundown of, you do have instructions. I'm not going to be talking about the instructions here of how to actually play the game, because you can play, you can just play card games. It's a deck of playing cards, but you can also play the game Open Portals, and there's instructions. I have not tried to play this yet. I will eventually, give it a try, because I do actually love card games, but I haven't tried to do it, and to be honest, I haven't even read through all this, so this isn't going to be about playing the actual card game. But I have been able to use this quite extensively. In some ways, I think this is such a cool, I've never seen a sheet quite like this, because it all does fold up so nicely and then turn into this great little thing. So I think it's absolutely cool. So in terms of that, it's really cool. It's visually really gorgeous. It's actually quite functionable in finding things, which I'm going to show you in a minute. My concern is that the paper is fairly thin, and so that if you're continually using it to find things, how well is that going, because it's folding and unfolding all the time. I do have some concerns about how well that's going to show up over time. But I think it's ingenious, and I do like the concept of it. And in terms of doing readings, I found it to be pretty easy to just sort of open book it through the different things and then turn it over to the other two suits. So I didn't end up having the whole thing open and out, which isn't real conducive for me for doing readings. It would cut, covers pretty much my reading table, but I actually kept it sort of like this, and so then there are the spades and the diamonds, and if you just flip it over the other side, there are that was the clubs and diamonds, and then here are the spades and the hearts, and you can just sort of turn the pages this way, and that's pretty much how I've been using it, and it's worked really well. So I just want to touch bases on that. I have the myths I actually keep out. So far, I may end up shuffling them all in, but at the moment I've been keeping them out because several of the readings that are in here, you keep that out to sort of focus the energy, even though it does give you upright and reverse meanings to be able to use them within a reading. But I'm going to break the sections down here at the get-go. I did that eventually at the first run round, but I want to do it at the get-go so that you can really see what's going on with this, because it is a full system. And this is one of the things that really excites me when oracles are actual systems, rather than just a bunch of random type keyword cards, which has their place, but when something actually has sort of suits and connective things that are going on within them, that becomes more of a closer to an experience of reading with tarot than it does, say, just a thematic oracle deck. And so that really excites me when oracle decks do that. So I'm going to get out real quick and lay out sort of so we can see the system in an overview. I guess we can pull all these out. So I'm going to lay those out real quick and be right back. Okay, so now you can kind of see things laid out. I want to read you the introduction here. If I put my glasses on. So it says, there are portals everywhere. They open and close every day and are as normal as the sun setting or the water rising. These portals take us across our universe and carry us through our lives. Some portals open when you are born and stay open your whole life. Others might open only once, and some you may never even know. We experience some of these portals every day. Portals of the light as it spills through the trees. Portals of time as memories take us back. portals of nature, like the power of the river washing over the body, and portals of the spirit, like the act of falling in love. But there are many portals that are often hidden and easily overlooked. Within this deck are 36 portals I have found, with 12 different gods to summon and 4 types of magic that offer reminders on the greatness of life. Perhaps these cards will open new worlds for you as they have for me. With love, James R. Eads. Awesome. The other thing that I want to read, which I didn't do before I had gotten so enthusiastic the last time, is how these cards can be used in terms of as an oracle deck. Similar to a tarot deck, open portals can be used as an oracle deck for meditation and reflection. Within this manual, you will find the meanings behind all 56 cards in the deck. This is a deck about duality, which is something I really resonate with. There is an upside and a downside to everything. You can choose to read the upside for cards that are face up and the downside for the cards that are upside down. But some cards, like the face cards or the court cards here, do not have right side up. You will have to use your intuition to guide you, and the question that you've asked will also help to guide you. Open portals can be used in any of the classic tarot spreads, but within this manual are 4 suggested spreads using the energy of the 4 myths, which we're going to talk about. The myth cards tell the story of open portals, and each has its own associated spread to offer enlightenment or interpretation of a particular situation. Then all of the cards are thematic based on their suit and their number. So we obviously have the different suits that are there, and then each of the numbers 2 through 10 have a specific theme, which we'll talk about again in a minute. So he gives the example, all the 2 portal cards are controlled by fear, whereas 5 portal cards represent change. The gods, the magics, and the myths each represent something unique. You will find the dominant trait of each card in the top corner of the card meanings, which I'll show you. And then for more information on open portals, visit openportals.com. So what we have here is, these are the sort of 4 sections that we have. We have 4 Joker cards, and the Joker cards represent major myths. And again, in the actual readings, so we have the myth of the fractal tree, the myth of chaos, the myth of the Great Mother, and the myth of Kuzo. And these are larger energies, which we'll talk about each one when we go through the walkthrough. So we have there, as you think of in the way that I mean, I seriously, after having used this deck, you know, every once in a while you run across things, something somebody wrote, a song somebody sang, a poem, a photograph, a system of reading, where you just say, that was made for me. Like, I could have made that. Like, that expresses me in a whatever the thing is. And that's how I do feel about this deck. I feel like this deck was made for me. I feel like James R. Eads just said, you know what, let me make the perfect deck for Kelly. And here it is. So many things about this are things, the idea of portals are something that I've worked with for a really long time. The idea of myth and the power of myth is something that I work with all the time. The number sequencing, just so much about this is just reflects me so well that this is just, that's why I was so excited opening it, that it wasn't very useful, I think, as a walkthrough. Anyways, so we have the 4 myths that are this greater energy that winds, as myth does, it winds its way through life. We then have the court cards, and the court cards are gods and goddesses. Of course, we have in traditional playing cards, jacks, queens, and kings. And so the jacks tend to be a little bit either male and female or a little gender neutral looking, in my opinion. Then we have the queens, of course, and we have the kings. They don't have reversed meanings. They do have, he gives you an upright and reverse meaning, but many of them you can't tell whether they're upside or upright or not, and so you would have to come on that intuitively, or again, depending on your question, that generally kind of narrows that in fairly well, in my opinion. So you have that. So then you have the aces of each of the suit, and this reflects a type of magic: time magic, light magic, natural magic, and spirit magic. So this is a type of energy to magic here, the 4 energies in a way. And then of course we have then the number suits, which then reflect obviously the type of magic that they are in, but then each of the numbers, so 2s reflect, let's just grab one of these here, stick it, whoops, as I make a mess. This for a minute. So 2s have something to do with time magic, but to do with fears. So for example, if time is the primary suit, and you think about the idea of forgotten, the portal of the forgotten, the fear of forgetting things, right? Sometimes we want to forget things, other times not. 3s are about uncertainty. And so we have cards that relate to or are powered by uncertainty. And so a time loop, if you're thinking about linear time, but then being stuck in a time loop, that gives you that idea of uncertainty. We have for 4 this idea of structure, and this is the portal of past lives. So in time, we have all of these, the structure of how past lives tend to work. For 5, we have change, the portal of the child, that spark of energy, that newness that comes. Number 6s are about alignment, and here we have patterns. So instead of chaos, we have set patterns, and so that aligns the idea of time in a much more structured way. 7s are about excitement, and this is portal for the beginning. The doors, just stepping through, the excitement of starting something new, of stepping into time that we haven't even experienced yet. 8s are about strength. In this case, it's the philosopher, because strength of the across time, these philosophers have given us things to think about and to be able to process. It talks about celebrating the time and the union of time and the mind, which is really cool. Ninth is the number 9s are in all of the suits are about acceptance. So this is accepting that sometimes time is going to unravel, that there is a degree of needing to give over to the fact that time may not be so linear as we think, right? And then the 10th card is about victory, and this is the time traveler. So you can see that within the suit of time magic, how then each of these key terms for each of the numbers then relates to how that might relate to time. And so that is the other part, now that I've kind of made a mess, but that is how we have the greater myths, the gods here that are coming in. We have the different types of magic, and that represents the 4 suits. And then within those, we have the suits of 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6, 7, 8s, 9 that each carry across. So all of the 2s are going to be about fears. So if we have light magic, the fear is the portal for darkness. Natural magic is the desert. Part of the, if you think about natural nature and you think of all of the lushness of, say, a jungle, part of the fear is a desert landscape, which is just seemingly devoid of life. Now, this card actually does speak to the life that is actually going on beneath the surface of a desert. But if you think about how we would think about a desert as maybe being just lifeless and sand compared to natural magic. And then here we have spirit magic, and the fear card is the portal for the inner being, and it's a mirror. I mean, I know it's a portal, but it very much looks like a mirror. So that fear is in actually facing ourselves in some ways. Going within ourselves can be very scary. So so all the 2s in some way relate to fear, and the 3s to strength, and so on and so forth. So it's a beautiful multi-layered system that I think is completely amazing. So I'm going to now put these back together so that we can take a look at these up close now that you've kind of had a chance, I think, to see how the structure is involved. And in terms of the guidebook, let me just go through this one time here. You have for each card, including the myths, you do have get over here where we can see a queen as well. So all of the queens are for wisdom. Let's see, all of the jacks are for luck, this idea of luck. The queens are about wisdom, and the kings are about patience. And so for each of the cards in the guidebook here, we have keyword at the top. This is not just for this particular card, but it is for all of the 4s and or all of the jacks and or all of the queens. So we have that keyword that's in place. We obviously have the card. We have what it is in a sort of synopsis, and then we have a downside and an upside, so an upright and reverse meaning to those particular cards. So we have that for all of the cards, including, here's the example of the myth of the Great Mother. The myths also at the bottom, it gives you information about that myth. It gives you, each of the myths has a specific spread, and then it gives you an upside and a downside if you choose to shuffle those into the deck. As I said, since I've been using it, I haven't been shuffling these into the deck. But I think eventually I probably will, but at the moment I have not. I'm kind of stepping my way through whether I want to do that or not. And so then, of course, we have and the rest of the guidebook is each one having, so this is the myth of the fractal tree and the spread, the myth of chaos and the spread, the myth of the Great Mother and the spread, and the myth of Kuzo and the spread. The only images of the cards are for the myth. The rest of them, we don't have images of the actual cards in the little guidebook. So that's the structure of the guidebook. So let me put these back into order and we'll come back and look at them more one by one. Okay, so I think I've already pointed this out, but I did get the red foil. You can get this, or you could with the Kickstarter. You could get this with red or gold foil and a dark and a light version. This is obviously the dark version. As soon as it's up for purchasing, I will be purchasing a light version with gold foil because I love this so much that, yeah, I want them all. And so from what I understand, the once the Kickstarter have all been mailed out, which is, from what I understand, going across the month of January, hopefully having all of the Kickstarters mailed out. And once those have been mailed out, then it will be put up for sale. So if you missed out on the Kickstarter, you will be able to have an opportunity to purchase this deck. I don't know in what iterations, like I don't know if you're going to be able to get the red foil. I don't know what that was Kickstarter and what wasn't, but you will be able to at least get some version of it. I will be stalking the website because I so want to get the other version. Okay, so let me grab the here. So we have the myth of the fractal tree here. So the myth of the fractal tree is the map to everything that has existed within the bounds of time. So this is really one that you want to use and focus the energy when you are trying to find the many paths. So the reading that comes with it, I've done all of these readings. The reading is meant to follow the pathways for a certain situation that could branch off in many different ways and sort of see where those are leading. So it makes sense when you look at the image what this would be, what focus this would be for. These are, of course, all of the jokers in a deck of cards. Then we have the myth of the Great Mother. This speaks about the energy in all things. And this has actually a quick reading that just gives you the upside and the downside of a particular situation. But this is that idea of it being about sort of the basic energy that connects everything together. We then have the myth of Kuzo here, which is a beautiful card. And this is another reason why I say that this deck was made for me, because this is the card of the Gatekeeper. And I have, I think I've even said it before in the past, but I have a dream when I first was realized, or was, you know, I've known his whole life, but when it was really coming down to that fact of having to change thought over active, trying to, you know, do all of the work to keep my son alive, versus having to switch to palliative care. I had a dream about a gatekeeper and my son, and so this, when I saw this at first, just hit me hard in the feels, so to speak. But regardless, this is the myth of Kuzo, and this is useful when seeking insight on the future of an unfolding event or journey. As the first spirit to exist, Kuzo became the gatekeeper between the spirit world and the physical world. Gorgeous card. Gorgeous energy here. And the reading for this is a spiral that looks a little bit more about a three-part journey. The spiral can be kind of hard to lay out. I've actually kind of come up with another way to lay it out that can fit, you know, so that I can actually do it for people and for myself easily. But I really like this particular reading. I actually like all of them, but the last one is the myth of chaos. This is about understanding the cyclical nature of things. This is understanding, let's just read it. The myth of chaos is about the cyclical nature of the world and is useful in understanding that beginnings and endings are linked together. And so this is about, in the reading then, shows sort of how you go around, and then you go around again, and they all come back and meet at the middle. So understanding that factor of life. And so then you can see each of the myths is a greater way in which the world functions, and then a reading that helps you to tap into that particular energy. It's so smart. Love it so much. Okay, so now let's go through the cards, or the cards themselves. Again, as I'm using this, I've just kind of used it like a book. And just kind of open it so I put it in order that's most easy for me to follow. So here we have the, we're going to go through the clubs first. And this is the time machine. I'm going to kind of go through this one quickly because we already kind of worked our way through this, but I want you to be able to see the images up close. So here we have the time machine, which is the ace, is the type of magic that suit represents. We have the portal for the forgotten and under fear, the portal for the time loop for uncertainty, the portal for past lives for structure of time, the portal for the child for change, the portal for alignment with patterns, the portal for excitement, or the portal for beginnings for excitement, the portal for the philosopher for strength, the portal for the unraveling in acceptance, and the portal for the time traveler in the victory, the number 10s being about victory. And of course, I didn't even, look closely at the image. The images are stunning, but we'll look a little closer as we slow down for the others. But we'd already gone through the suit. For the gods, we have the god of synchronicity for the jack. This relates to luck, and I think it's certain that idea of randomness, right, that comes in the world. And as you can see, for me, this could be a male or female. At least you can also certainly see it as a female. So the jacks tend to be either male or female or gender neutral in a way. And then of course we have the Queen's feminine energy. They're all called gods though, regardless of gender. The god of knowledge, because the Queens relate to wisdom, and the god of time for the patience here. And so let me just read, just so we have an example of a whole thing. So here we have the god of time. We have the patience at the top, what the card is. The god of time uses the moon as guidance to keep time in order. When he shows up in a reading, it usually represents a span of time that's elapsing. The downside, time is uncontrollable. We are greatly affected by the things that tether us to it. The god of time can represent our struggle to cope with time. The upside, the time can heal and help forget. The god of time is a character who understands how to use time to an advantage. Time can be on your side if you can learn how to let it flow in your favor. The god of time is wise and patient. So that is the first suit of time magic. I'm going to keep these gods out because I want to do something in a minute. So then let's go through the ace, or the diamonds here. This is the suit of light magic. And the keyword for this is the light. And some of these might be reversed here. I didn't go through actually and look at that. So here we have, when I was putting them back together, I mean, they came all upright, but I've used this deck and just kind of put it together. So this is the portal for darkness, which is the fear for light. Here we have the portal of Polaris, which is uncertainty. Here we have the portal for prisms, which is for structure. Look how gorgeous that is. The images are stunning. Of course, again, if you have the Prisma visions or the light visions, you can certainly, you know, you already see how amazing his artwork is. The portal for the sunset is change. So in terms of light, it's showing the change. And of course, this could be a sunrise or a sunset. And we have that idea of change. Here is the portal for rainbows, which is for alignment. Look how beautiful that is. Here we have the excitement. For excitement, we have the portal of the spark. My guess is that it goes this way, and that's reversed, but, you know. Most of them you can pretty well see, except for, again, the gods. We have number 8, the portal for the small sun for strength. I really like this one. This came up, it has a lot to do about our expectations and what we believe, which is gorgeous. Here we have the portal for the red moon that is in the acceptance cards. We have the portal for the light giver for victory. That full, see, this is what I love. It's like that full, just like the, if we look at the, like I'd love to go through this with just all of the numbers next to each other. Like you could go through this so many different ways. So we have the 10s being the full, if the aces are all sort of the magic of the suit, the 10s then are that full expression. So the full expression of time is a time traveler, somebody who can, you know, work within time. For the magic of light, it is the light giver, the person who is fully stepped into the power of light. So it's just really, it's fantastic. I just can't speak to how fantastic it is, because it is fantastic. So then that brings us to the gods of the suit of diamonds. So for jacks, we have, actually, it looks like the gods have each their own separate keyword at the top. Whereas jack was luck for for the suit of spade, or yeah, for a suit of clubs. For diamonds, the jack is energy, and this is the god of fires. For queens, instead of wisdom, we have clarity with the god of stars. I love, she's just beautiful. And then illumination, instead of patience with the spades, we have the god of light, which is illumination. Really awesome. And I wanted to keep these out for some reason that I don't remember why, but I will for now. Okay. Oh, I think I was going to see, now I don't need to do that. I was going to see if, like, how did they all relate to wisdom, if the queen, all the queens were wisdom, but actually they each have their own thing, so I don't need to do that. So now we're talking about natural magic when going with the spades. And all I do is I was looking through them this way, and I flipped the booklet over, and you kind of can now have the booklet going for spades. So we have natural magic here. This is obviously reversed. I love the waves here. We have for the portal for the desert for fear. Although again it talks about peace being found in desolation, and in the quiet there is wisdom to be acquired. Listen to what knowledge isolation has to offer. Kind of has a hermit feel to it. So here we have the in natural magic, so we had the desert, now we have the forest. The portal for the forest in uncertainty, which I think would go that way. We have the portal for the mountain in structure. We have the portal for the wind in change. Tides with alignment. You know, that's sort of, again, cyclical nature of things. We have the portal of the animal for excitement. So these are all natural magic, right? We have the portal for the lilies for strength. We have the portal for the withering, because things fade. Winter comes. Things die. Things fall away. And so we have in natural magic, that is certainly there. And this is in the acceptance. And then for 10, for that full culmination of the suit, we have the portal for the living. It's life itself. Natural magic is about life itself. I just love these 10s. In my opinion, that's, you know, that's how you see, say, the suit of these 4 suits in tarot, is the 10s are the culmination of the suit. So that's why I get frustrated with sort of the burden nature of, say, the 10 of Wands, or, you know, a dead person on the ground for the 10 of Swords. This is just awesome. Anyways, so for jacks of spades, it's about balance, and it's the god of life and death. For the queens, it is duality. The god of water is about duality here. And then for the king, it is wholeness with the god of worlds. That brings us to the hearts, which is spirit magic. And it has to do with kind of love and spirit and heart here. So for spirit magic, we have, again, the portal for the inner being for fear. We do fear our inner selves. And that maybe goes that way as the mirror. I'm not sure which way that goes, but you have to pick one, I guess, as being upright or reversed. Here we have the number 3, the portal for the heartbroken under uncertainty, of course. That is the idea of heartbrokenness. Number 4 for structure, we have the portal for the family. And that goes this way with the family that's here. This is that structured energy. For 5, for change, we have portal for the changing heart. So we have a heart in motion here. For 6, which is the theme is alignment, we have portal for the soulmate, that coming together with that ultimate soulmate. For excitement, we have the portal for the new lover. And so we have that kind of new, I saw, the way this has come up for me in a couple readings is more new lover and more older level, like having been a connection, a longer connection, but it can have this idea of just this idea of fresh love, and this idea that feeling it fresh love, and when it's reverse is that idea that sometimes it's more physical versus that, you know, puppy love and that attraction and that sense of idealism or excitement that comes. When it's in reverse, it's more of that physicality and more of that focused and more physical. I think there's a couple of different ways that you could play with that depending on your question. We have for strength, the portal for the mother. We have feet here, almost like a baby's being born, feet first, kind of looks like. Love this image. Acceptance, portal for the dream world and acceptance. Having your dream. I love the image of this card as well. This is the portal for the healer. So in terms of the magic of spirit, the ultimate culmination of that suit is the healer. I mean, I just love these 10s. Can we talk about that 5 times? For Jacks, it is creativity for this in the God of Dreams. For the Queens, it is love for the gods of love. They're twin gods of love. And then the Kings are soul, the god of souls for this. So I think you can, I hope that you can really see, I've got these, it's about, I hope that you can really see how beautifully layered and how well done, I believe, this deck is in keeping with the gods that are of the suit, the aces, which is the magic of the suit, and then the number, how each of the numbers show this progression as well. And it just, I think, does an absolutely beautiful job. And I think you really see that. I should have kept these out, but I think that you can really see that between the aces and the 10s, where you have the you have the magic. So here we have the light magic and the full expression of that being the light giver. You have time magic and the full expression being the time traveler. You have a spirit magic and the healer being the full expression. You have natural magic and the portal, oh, I got the wrong, and the idea of life itself, the portal of living, just all things living being the culmination of that. I just think that's just amazing. The whole thing is amazing. Again, I'm a huge fan. Clearly, there's no question about this, that I'm a huge fan of this. But I was as soon as I saw it. Like, as soon as I saw this, I backed it, and all of the cards were definitely not in play. Okay, so there we have that. As I said, I have done all of these different readings. I'm obviously not going to go through all of the readings, but they do express the myth really well. So you have a reading that helps you to find the ways in which life branches off. You have a reading in which speaks to you about how things connect back on each other, that it's cycles that connect back on each other, that figure 8 kind of feel. The Great Mother is just really looking at the essence of things, what is in light and what is in shadow, basically. And then the Kuzu one is this great, it's almost like the journey of life. So it's showing challenges and then sort of 3 phases of the journey. The beginning of the journey, the second leg of the journey, and the third leg of the journey, and then where that's all leading to. So it's a great sort of hero's journey that takes place with the reading. So I've done all of those and really had some powerful experiences of them. Both for myself and for other people that I've done them with. The other thing that I've also done is just some 3-card pulls. So, I mean, it reads beautifully as I've used it for within without advice. No, you should not riffle shuffle You should not riffle shuffle foil edges. If it's a good foil edge, it should hold up to it. Yes, it will look like it's been used. I'm happy with that. But for example, my fountain tarot is a bright, shiny silver foil edge, and I have riffle shuffled the heck out of that, and it still looks beautiful. Can you tell that it's been used? Yes, but it looks beautiful. So a good foil should allow for it, but I'm just saying that for your own deck, you will see faster wear if you riffle shuffle your foil edges. So again, as I said, I've been keeping these out and using them for the specific readings. But this reads great. I've just been using it for within, without, and advice, and just as you would any. Of course, you've got playing cards as well. So if you're into tarot, right, we know that the hearts relate to cups. We know that the diamonds relate to earth. So you could connect those, although I think that probably sticking with the types of magic in this is a full-fledged system by itself. If you know numerology, you could also work with the numerology, but they'll kind of have their own numerology built in. So at the moment, I'm just leaving it. There's so many layers to be had, because I can see right now that I have a sequence of 7, 8, and 9. And so I can just think about that in terms of going from excitement to strength to acceptance, and think about how that sequence might be telling me something. I can also see that I have 2 diamonds, which have to do with, I still have to check things. I haven't had them that long, but the diamonds are light magic, and then so we have light and spirit magic at play here. So we can add that layer into thinking about it. So we're looking at what the numbers stand for in this system. We're looking at the suits and what those stand for, and then you can of course go into the specifics of the cards themselves, with the 7 of Hearts being the portal for new lovers. Of course, if I just put my glasses on, I could just read it. We have a portal of the small sun, and then we have the portal for the red moon, and then looking both of those up and getting those actual meanings. If you're going to use reversals, you obviously want to get it. I didn't actually mix it for that, but you'll want to shuffle it for reversals. How I interpret the upright or reversed can also have to do with the question that's in play for me personally. So I've been using it for within, without advice. The other thing that I've been using it for, you know, I've been working with Patrick's. Obviously, I've been waiting for this forever. So I have been, if you look on my Instagram, today, obviously you could be watching this long from now and not be able to see it, but I actually set up, it's winter time, the sun is in Capricorn in the 2nd house when I did it, and then I pulled 3 cards randomly and sort of got it as above, so below message. And so I've done that a few times as well. So I'm just kind of showing you how I've been using this thus far, I guess is what I'm trying to show you, how I've been using it. And that's been fantastic. I pulled just some straight up 3 cards just for answering some practical questions for a friend of mine, wondering like how it would do with just, less, let's dig into the meaning of my life and more quick questions, and it did really well. It suited that as well. Of course, great for using yes and no questions, if just as the playing card, because you do have the playing card suit built in. So you can literally just like have a yes and no question and I've got videos on this as well, where you have, okay, well, you've got 2 reds and a black. So the answer is probably yes, but we don't have 2 hearts. We do have, so red, just in a nutshell, hearts are yes, in the way that I do it. Again, there's different ways, but the way I do it, hearts are yes, and diamonds are probably yes. Spades are no, and clubs are probably not. So you can gauge how strong it is. So this is a yes, but there is some room for shakiness because obviously it's kind of starting out on a shaky footing and then improving. But anyways, you can again use it for a quick yes and no because you've got the playing cards right there. So that's good to have thrown in there also. But in terms of the actual readings, the readings that he gives, he doesn't have you pull these. So for example, for the Myth of the Great Mother, that becomes your focus. So just as you're shuffling, you're focusing on the energy and the Myth of the Great Mother, and then you're pulling your cards for a significator card. So this really represents the situation at hand, and then you are pulling a what is upright and what is reversed, what's in light, what's in shadow. He calls them blanking, upside and downside of things, and then doing a reading such as that. So he's in all of the spreads, he's using this as a focus. You don't pull it, you set it out as a focus, and then you pull a significator, and then you actually do the reading itself. So that tends to be the structure. Obviously you could very easily use this, as he said, in any kind of reading because it's so nuanced with layers. This, I think, for me, would function very similarly to a tarot deck. Obviously, a tarot deck is based off of this structure to some degree, right, with the minors, and then adding in the myths for that bigger energy. It's not a full major arcana, but you do have the myths there. So you can do any kind of reading. So my Celtic cross, so to speak, which would be present, past, future. I do the 4 elements of fire, air, water, and earth. And then depending on the question I'm working at, as above, so below, what's in light, what's in shadow, what is out in the open and what is hidden. It just depends on the question what I do with these 2 cards. But this to me is a fully functioning, compact, beautifully compact, fully functioning deck. Obviously, it's going to pair beautifully with, say, the playing card Arcana, if you wanted to throw some tarot and work with the tarot and that. So then that would be great to do sort of a 3-card tarot reading as above, or however you want to do that. What's in the body and the soul. And doing so below, so you kind of have a tarot and oracle combined together. These would be beautiful together, and this is a deck I use a lot. So those kinds of things excite me. A 9-card reading with this is amazing. Or you've done one of those with it as well. Just lining out 9 cards and doing all the different things that you can do with a 9-card. Because and I have a video about how fantastic 9-card squares readings are, but you can do all the things where you kind of have this what's going on at the center and sort of the main theme here. You can look at the corners, you can look at the cross around for that movement, starting and moving around. You can do your past, present, and future. You can do body, soul, and spirit. There's so much you can do with a 9-card. So just laying this out as a 9-card is going to be amazing. So yeah, again, because of the structure of this deck, what you end up with is a fully versatile system that is going to read, I think, much more akin to tarot than a thematic thematic oracle deck where it's just a lot of keywords based on a overall theme. Again, there's other oracle decks that do have systems, but that's the difference, is that this feels like a full functioning tarot type system versus a oracle deck where you might just pull a card, which you could still do with this, but anyways, I'm going to stop. I think I've kind of hit on some examples. Of course, the box is stunning. Everything is stunning about this. And so it all goes back in here nicely. I've just been keeping the myth cards separate so that I can get them easily. And it all goes back in nice and compact and ready to go. So put that away. So yeah, there we have it. This has been a look at the Open Portals playing cards. Again, this, as you can see from the side, it's for 3 to 4 players, takes 35 to 45 minutes, ages 8 and up. So it is a playing card deck that you can play your regular playing card games. It is a game, it has its own game involved, and then it's the divination system. This is, let's be honest, similar to Lenormand. If you look at the Lenormand or the Primal Lenormand, that has the playing cards on it. So it had the German and the French, so you could play German playing cards games, French playing card games. It had the images on them to play the Game of Hope, which was a board game type game, like we have here. And then, of course, it said you can also use this for divination. So this is very similar, a modern take on what the Lenormand was when the Lenormand actually was first came out. So that's pretty cool in my book. So I'm going to stop. Hope you have a wonderful day.